Hello and welcome to Murphy's Garden. And Murphy and I are just up by the shed in the vegetable garden, and I just want to share with you some of the things that we've been doing. First thing to say is that Murphy is looking very smart, and he's had his summer cut because it's spring is here and he was getting a bit hot, so he's had his hair cut and he looks really lovely and puppy-like, don't you, Murph? So that's the most important news. But secondly is that we've just been busy in the garden and we've been doing lots of seed sowing, and everything's doing quite well. It's very slow, it seemed, to get started, to get going and to germinate, but things, the weather's warmed up a little bit and it's really starting to take off, so much so that I just seem to have run out of room rather quickly. Greenhouse is chock-a-block and I've got nowhere to put anything. So I did actually buy one of those little plastic greenhouses. If any of you haven't got a greenhouse and are fairly new to gardening and seed sowing, then I really recommend them. They're really, really good. I started off with one in the past and find that I was able to grow quite a lot in there. It's only a small space, but I managed to get tomatoes and all sorts of seeds and everything growing in there. So the reason I've bought one is just so I can put in, as I sort of harden things off and as I pot on, I've just got a bit of extra surface space. And it's quite good for that. What I find in the past is that when I took it down and put it up the next year, after a period of time the plastic started to become a bit weak and rip. So what my intention is, I won't take it down, and what I'll do is just put it inside the other greenhouse for the winter, and then I can overwinter some of my things like geraniums and things like that. That will be a second skin, just to keep everything nice and warm, and or not nice and warm but frost free, and hopefully get the geraniums and things like that through the winter, because I certainly don't want to pay to heat the greenhouse over the winter. So that's the plan. So in a minute we'll just muster up the energy to move, but it's quite nice sitting here. Oh, is that your paw, Murphy? Just holding my hand, aren't you? We'll go and have a look at what we've been busy doing and move, shall we, Murph? He's a good boy, isn't he? He's a good boy. So I'll just show you my little setup. So to the side of the shed I've got lots of plants and things that I'm bringing on. These are some of the cuttings and things like hydrangea cuttings and various things that I've now potted up, and they're doing quite well. Also you'll see lots of grasses. I want to do some nice pots and nice displays, and I thought instead of buying grasses, I've got quite a lot of grasses already in the garden, so I've split some of them and potted them on. And this is the new greenhouse, so it fits in this space really well. It's lovely and warm in there. I've just put a few things in there. I've got my dahlias in there. I've got some sunflowers, but to be honest they could be outside, but I just was playing around with it. But it's quite a good size and I can get 12 seed trays. And then if we head into the big greenhouse, so this is what I do overnight. So everything is well fleeced, just because it does get quite chilly in the night. And then all the little trays have got their own little covers on them, and not all of them, but most of them have got a little cover on them as well, so they shouldn't get too cold. And so every morning I have to take everything out. It's a bit of a bind whenever you're rushing out to work in the morning, but I have to try and remember to do it, because if I don't it will get way too hot. So I just take all the covers off everything, and obviously remove all the fleece as well. So I'll just put the camera down while I do this, because it's a bit tricky doing it with one hand. So in the greenhouse we've got lots of little seedlings, and everything is just starting to put on a bit more growth. We've got lots of tomatoes. We're growing Black Russian, Sun Gold and Gardener's Delight this year. They're still quite small, but they are getting there. We've got a few grasses and lots of things. We've got lots of antirrhinums. We've got lots and lots of cosmos, yeah, just some seedlings here that need potting on. I find if I don't pot them on quickly enough, everything just stagnates and doesn't really do a lot, so they do need to be moved on quite quickly. to get good growth. So over here, yeah, they're the cosmos. We've got some squashes and courgettes. Oh, and these are the little gora seedlings. So I wanted some gora for the new area that we've done. So I've planted those and they're doing quite well. And I've also planted up some Verbena bonariensis. As I've said before, it's seeds everywhere, and I didn't even sow these seedlings. They just appeared in other seed trays when I was sowing other things. Don't know how, but they pop up everywhere. So I've just potted them on. Got some French beans, more cosmos. And there's Murphy, he likes to burrow into the fleece, don't you, Murph? He finds that really comfy under there. That's nice, isn't it? Oh, and now this is the sprayer. This is the sprayer I used to when I did all the treatment of the box hedges in the last video. And it was really good. It's actually Callistephs, but I find it really good. So I've now pinched it for myself. I did used to use this just spray gun, but after a while you get a sore finger. It's a bit hard going spraying all these seedlings. So I've washed it all out, and I'm using it to water all my seedlings, and it produces this lovely fine mist, and it's got this nice long reach hose on it, so I can get right to the back. Underneath there are my potatoes. These are the potatoes that were growing in pots, and as you can see they're quite big. Oh, this is Olivia's lemon tree, which is getting big and takes up far too much room in the greenhouse. And then the other thing we've done just to create yet more space is that I haven't got a cold frame, but we had the windows replaced in the winter, and we kept the windows because the intention is to use them to make some cold frames. So we've just mocked up a bit of a temporary cold frame using just some bricks, which I've just made into a square. And the quite funny thing is that these bricks have got little holes in them, which is perfect for propping the window latch on, and it just holds the little cold frame open in the day, so lets a bit of air in, and everything in there is doing quite well. It's certainly not airtight, or it's quite drafty, I should think, but it certainly gives some protection. So I've just got things like peas and sweet peas and stuff like that in there. This is a Salvia amistad, which I'm just hardening off. That can go into the garden in the next few weeks. And then just in the new greenhouse, haven't really put anything permanent in there, but I just moved out some of the bigger things that were taking up a lot of room. So I've got some geraniums and the sunflowers. The sunflowers could go outside. They've been outside and they're quite tough and hardy now, really. They're hardened off, so I think they can go into the garden. But I was just experimenting to see what space I had, and it's quite good, really. But it does get very hot. So just have to be careful to open it in the day, and maybe not put the seedlings that I'm waiting to germinate in there, because I'd have to open it in the day, and that might be a bit breezy for them. So I'll keep them in the big greenhouse and then just use this one for things that are a little bit bigger and I want to harden off. So yeah, very good. I'm really pleased with that. So the other thing I do in the shed, this is where I've got the electric supply. We do want electricity in the greenhouse, but we just haven't got round to that yet. So in the shed, I've got the propagator. So what I've been doing, I've got this bench set up. I've got 4 little electric propagators, and so I put things in the shed and switch it on just overnight. And that's where I put things which are waiting to germinate. So things that haven't quite come up, just give them a little bit of heat, especially things like the squashes and chilies and peppers and all those things which do require a bit of heat. So yeah, that's my little setup. So it's quite interesting to see what other people do, and sometimes it gives you ideas. I've certainly watched a few other YouTubers, and it gives me ideas how I can improve what I do. So this is the misting spray. So as you can see, that's quite good. That's revolutionised my watering technique. It's really quick. And the other thing I do, I've got a little basin of water, so I just plunge seed trays into the basin of water, and then it uptakes the water through the bottom, and that's quite good especially for small seedlings. And the little sprayer is much easier for getting into these, to my temporary cold frames. So much easier that you can't get a watering can in, it doesn't fit. So I've got this one, and then I've got another one which I made over some lettuces. So I've put some lettuces in the ground, and then I just constructed the bricks around the lettuces. So a week's gone by since I did the last bit of filming, so if it was busy and crowded in the greenhouse last weekend, it's even more chock-a-block this weekend. So I'm just going to go through all my plants and sort of start moving things on. I've got things like this, which is doing absolutely nothing but taking up room. There's no germination on that one. So we'll go through things, discuss some of the plants that I'm growing and some of my successes and some of my failures. So the first one, I'm growing a lot of flowers for the borders, and these are some of these Sarah Raven plants that I'm growing make lovely cut flowers. So this one, the first one is Callistephs Chinensis, China Aster. So it's I thought it was a lovely, lovely colour, and I thought that would make a really nice cut flower. So not all of them germinated, but some of them did. So I've got 14, I've got 12 there and another 2 there. And the next one to show you is this one. This is Cleon Violet Queen. Again, thought that made a nice cut flower, and they're doing quite well. They're getting quite big now. I've got 2 in that one, so that could be just split and potted on individually. And I'm also going to give a few grasses a go as well. So we've got one Sarah Raven one, which is this greater quaking grass, Brisa maxima. I don't know how to pronounce any of these. This is one I got free with the Garden Illustrated magazine, and it's called Setaria viridis caramel. And that's what it looks like. So I've got a few of those. They all look pretty much the same. And this is bunny's tail grass, which is called Laguris ovatus. So they all look quite similar, but I'd be just interested to see what they look like when they get a bit bigger. So this is a Panicum violet millet, which I thought looks lovely, but the germination's not been great. We've only got 1, possibly 2, that might be a weed, and another one there. So only 2, I think, in that seed tray. So I'll just pot them on, and even if I get 2, I suppose that's better than nothing, but we'll give it a go. And these little seedlings are Antirrhinums, Antirrhinum majus apple blossom, also known as snapdragons. I wouldn't grow these if you're new to seed planting. They're a nightmare and horrible to do. They're so tiny and very difficult to prick out. But anyway, I've given it a go, and I think they're sort of taking. Another one that's very difficult to grow are petunias. And I did petunias the year before last, and they were lovely, and they had them in pots all over the place. I really liked them. So I thought I'd give it another go this year, but this is what they look like. So when they've germinated, they're so tiny, but I'm going to try and pot those ones on. These are the Nicotiana white ones, which we grew in the garden last year, and I collected the seed, and that's been very successful. So we've got some here, and we've also got some here which I can just carry on pricking out. They're very tiny seeds, and I think we've got some more over here. Yeah, they're all the white ones that we grew last year in the garden. I did try and grow some Sarah Raven, these ones, lime green, but I don't know where they are. I don't think any of them have germinated, but I'll have a look and see if I can find them, but I haven't seen them, so I don't think they germinated. And this is another Sarah Raven heliochrysum, or straw flower, and we've had quite good success with those, and I think they look lovely. Seem to be going for quite peachy colours this year. I just thought they looked lovely, so got quite a lot of that colour. Another difficult one to grow, Rodolfia gold spray. So I find this really difficult. It's very tiny and sort of fern-like. So I've got, I think the two at the end haven't been successful, but I've certainly got 8. And these are stocks. I don't know how to say that. Vintage antique mix. Look at the colours, they look stunning. And again, make lovely picked flowers. And these little seedlings are the lime green zinnias that we grew from seed last year, and we collected some of the seed and planted them. They've been successful, but this hasn't. I don't even know if that's a zinnia seedling. It doesn't look like a zinnia seedling. It might be, but the soil's starting to go a bit green and mouldy, so we'll give up on that. So I think a lot of the problem with some of the seedlings that haven't germinated is this peat-free compost. It goes very kind of mouldy and it's just not really that nice. So I'm not very impressed with that particular one that I got. It's not very nice at all. I'm not having much success with that. So this is the other Nicotiana that I'm growing. This is the lime green one. And it doesn't look great. The soil's all gone a bit green, but there's still quite a lot of germination in there. So it's time to move it on and pot it on. So again, just one of the very easiest seeds to grow is cosmos. So we've grown quite a lot of different ones. This is the Purity, which is the white one. We've also got a beautiful sort of double, this is it, double Dutch one. This is probably better. This one's better for the bees really, the single one, but the double ones look pretty. So we've got some of those growing as well. So they're quite big seeds, and because of that they're easy to handle and easy to grow. So these ones have been pricked out, but I'm going to just prick out these other ones. So just hold it by its leaves. These are the true leaves. These are the leaves that the first leaves that come through. So if one of them came off, it wouldn't be the end of the world. So hold it by that. So this is a tray of seedlings where the germination rate's been really hopeless, and you can just see why. This is the peat-free compost. It sets like concrete. It's gone really hard, and no wonder the little seedlings can't possibly get their roots down into it. There's just one or two that have managed it, but really the standard of the compost is just not there, and it's such a shame because I've wasted quite a lot of seed this year on compost that's just, look, it's just very, very hard. Look, and if you just pick it doesn't even when you wet it, it doesn't sort of break up. It's very, very sort of stuck together in big, hard clumps. So I don't know what other people have found with the peat-free compost, but I've given it a very good try, and I just find it impossible to grow seedlings in it. It's just not good enough. And here you can see how it's just formed this almost like a big plaque of solid matter. So I can't use it for seed growing, but certainly I can use it for bigger things like potting on, and I will use it to pot on my tomatoes. So I've got quite a lot of soil, some compost left over, and compost is quite expensive nowadays, so I don't want to waste it. So what I'll do is just tip that out, and I'll use that to pot on my tomatoes. More here. So these are the tomatoes. This one is sun gold. So you can, if you've got a greenhouse that's empty, you're not growing lots of seedlings, then you could start to put the tomatoes at this time of year into their final position. But as you can see, my greenhouse is so full that I just haven't got room to do that. But I want the tomatoes to continue to get big. So you can see I've got a nice, lovely little root system on that. So I'll just keep potting them on. So I'm going from this size to this size, just to encourage it to put on a bit more growth. And then I'll just, as I go, I'm just taking out any side shoots. So you can just see on this one, got little side shoots coming. So we want the plants to grow upright and not become bushy. So you take out the side shoots as they grow. And they're healthy, nice healthy little plants. I did grow some little cherry tomatoes, and I see that they haven't germinated, so I might try doing those again. So with the courgettes, cucumbers, all those things, I had quite mixed results really. This is the courgette that I'm growing, Romanesco. Looks a really nice one. This is one that's done particularly well. This has got very big, but yet other ones, this one's not. Oh, that's a squash, sorry. We've got other ones that just haven't germinated at all, so I'm not quite sure why that one did so well and the others didn't. These are similar. These are the same ones, courgette Romanesco, planted in these little pots, these reusable pots. And I just can see a little shoot coming through there, but definitely not as successful as the plastic, unfortunately. But as long as we're reusing the plastic that we've got, I certainly don't buy any more plastic things. I'm just using the ones I've got. So yeah, definitely finding the plastic works better. These tend to dry out quite quickly. So I've spent really the whole day in the greenhouse, and I think I've kind of progressed things a little bit. I've moved a lot of things on, got rid of anything that wasn't germinating, potted on the tomatoes, potted up all the little seedlings. I think the potatoes could probably go out of the greenhouse quite soon because they're getting to take up quite a bit of room. And then the other thing I'm just going to do, I've got this Salvia amistad, which has been hardening off for the last 2 weeks. It's been outside and it's been fine. But before I do, I took some cuttings of it a week or two ago, so this is 2 of them. This one's got good roots. I've just potted this one on. It's got really good roots. This one not quite so good, but I could just take another cutting from that just to create more plants. Got some geraniums here that I overwintered, just cuttings from geraniums that I overwintered, so I'm just going to pop those on. And then I think the process begins now when we start putting things out in the garden. Sunflowers are pretty hardy. They've been out for at least a week or 2, so I think they could go out. I'm not sure about, I've got the artichokes, I'm not really sure about those, whether they're hardy. The other thing you can do is as these dahlias come through, that one's come through, what I've just done is just take a little slice of the shoot that's come through and potted that on, and again that's another plant for free, so I could just do the same with that one, just cut it down low and pot it on. So there's lots to be done at this time of year, but we've made a good start. Thank you very much for watching, and join us again in the next video. Bye for now.